Alright, welcome back to Super Sentai Review, episode number 568. Well, for this one, we're discussing episodes 25 to 27 of Kiramager, along with their first movie with Ryusoulger. Mostly put for the first couple episodes, it's a quick two-parter that does two things. Number one, debuts new form for the Kiramagers. We'll get to that. And a brand new villain who will be here for the remainder of the series. A very interesting villain, played by a very lovely actress. So, basically, the whole thing is 25-26 is part of the whole Gemma Stone saga, which is the first time this is brought up since, like, episode 22. Yes, after taking 2 episodes off of this, we are resuming this plot thread, and right away they actually find the third piece. You're like, wow, for the third section of the saga, they've found 3 pieces already, and 1 more to go. So they find the piece at a temple, which apparently Jura basically has a pass with. There's also this very beautiful shy lady who's there, who turns out she's actually one of the villains. Yep. Temu finds out that she's actually Udon General, and also the Emperor's Secretary, Udana. Yep. That's her. Yep, that's her. A human-looking villain. I gotta admit, this actually was a really smart idea. And she's got her own changer, she can transform back and forth. Which I kind of enjoyed that. And of course, basically, thanks to Jiro's inspiration, they create a brand new weapon, known as the Go Arrow, which allows them to transform to an updated form known as the Go Kiramagers, which allows them to basically have their own battle vest. It's kind of like, the best way to describe it, it's kind of similar to Deca Rangers Swap Mode, Gega Rangers Master. It doesn't happen very often with the whole team, but I do appreciate it's really cool form. And of course, to meet the Bomber Mage, who starts with a silly thing of bowling, and then he has to do bombing stuff. Yeah, the bowling thing I thought was kind of silly, but he's really design-wise really cool villain. And then we have the movie. Yep, the second ever movie. Come right up to 26. He's like, wait, another one? Yeah, it's the first movie. Which, I thought this was a bit unusual because normally previous first movies I've seen generally don't happen until very late in the series. This is the first time I've seen it done before episode 30. Because usually do it like after 30 or just after 40. They have the first movie. So pretty much here's basically what happens. So Takemichi and his sister go to the movies, which is a brand new it's basically a brand new movie theater, open for free. Turns out basically it's basically a Yano movie theater, which brings people to the movie itself. Which, I can appreciate that this basically the Montes one. He's actually a very decent person who does care about his craft of making movies. Udana basically is trying to hurry up, make the movies like all this dark energy. And so, this is quite interesting. So we have, I think it's, because Takemichi falls asleep because he apparently can't stay awake when stuff is dark. It's kind of weird with him. So then she sees, then we see on the screen, we see Mento of the Ryusoulgers. You're like, why the heck is he on a movie screen for into this movie? Is he like an actor? Well, it turns out, basically showing a flashback, that 4 of the main 5 Ryusoulgers went to this movie theater while waiting for Kon to show up, who does show up, and of course Joe meets up with him. And of course, he's been traveling, which good on basically them for remembering that. And one thing I do appreciate for this movie is that the writer, who would do Dex, do refer Ryusoulger, apparently, I'm guessing at this, she must have gotten notes from the last couple episodes of the show. I appreciate also the fact that all the characters are pretty much all in character. Nobody is doing something they shouldn't be doing. And here's some interesting, though, for Ryusoulger himself. Not only do we have the main 6 Ryusoulgers here, we also have Kama's sister Ado, and that's it. Udi's not here. Well, she has a good reason why she's not here, because her actress passed away in real life. But she is referenced. Yes, she is in fact referenced as still being alive, despite her actress no longer being alive. As why her father is not here, that's a complete mystery. Yeah, that's something that's not really explained why he's not here. The Elder is not here. At least as Zord, they have a good reason why they're not in a lot of the movie, which good on basically remembering that, because at the end of Ryusoulger, the powers were sealed, along with the Ryusoulger, along with the Kishiryu Zords, which of course, they remember that here. Which, good on basic, because sometimes when they do these reunion things, they tend to forget elements. Here, it's like, they don't forget anything. Everything is remembered exactly how things are supposed to be. Though, in the case when they transform later on, they only have, for the Karu souls, they only have the ones they transform with. They don't have the other ones they have. Yeah, they had all these other ones, like, seeing, like, I could expect to see anything, but one thing that would be really cool to see is to see Kone's power form. Yeah, that would be really cool to see here. Nope, not here. But there's a reason why later on. So, eventually, pretty much all the Kiramagers, except for Takamichi, basically the rest of them all get brought into the movie, and they're put in different scenarios. So you have Mento in a casino, and he's there with Kara Yellow. And we have our 2 Pink Rangers in a Bad Girls movie. Yes, seriously. The Red Rangers in a High School Musical. We have Bumba and Setsuna in a period piece. Okay. You're like, am I forgetting anything? No, I think of. Oh, yeah, I almost forgot. We have Senna and Toa in a cop drama, where Toa is a master thief and Senna is a police officer. Now, here's something really weird, though. Like, you see the whole movie that she has her changing. Now, they actually do try to transform while in the movie, but they can't, because of the Minosaur. You're like, a Minosaur? How the heck did they get their hands on a Minosaur? Well, apparently it's explained that the Minosaur comes from the actual Jira monster. How did that happen? Simple. Kone comes back to Earth. Which I do appreciate them bringing him in here. I mean, he is a character from that previous show who was one of the villains, but he's not actively fighting the Kiramagers. He basically turned a new leaf. Oh, Wyrus was mentioned here, not seen. No mention of Precious, despite the fact he's actually alive. Yeah, he actually survived the events of Ryusoulger, but he is not here. I don't know why he's not here. Maybe because, and this is my personal guess, my guess is probably the reason I couldn't use his suit. Maybe because he was used over in Downcharge. That's probably the reason why. I'm sure his suit was simply not available. Kone's probably was available, probably because they shipped overseas for this movie. Yeah, they shipped it back overseas. Like, say, hey, can we borrow the suit for, like, this one movie? Like, either that or they probably recreate the suit. I'm not really sure what happened here. So, how does this happen? How does he create the Minosaurs? Simple. Udana steps on him. You're like, what? Well, more importantly, she stomps on him. I've heard him say because he more has a boy's voice. And somehow the mucus into his mouth, because that's what happened on this show. It's good than basically remembering that. And then doing not one Minosaur, but freaking 4! Yes, 4! So you can shoot like 5 freaking movies at once. And, like, they eventually all get out of the movies thanks to get their hands on the Jira monster, who's basically like a movie director, get hands on his clipboard thing with the whole. Now, normally put, I should point out though that a director could simply say cut. Now, I'm not sure where they get the idea about the whole board thing. That's usually there for, like, takes. Not usually to stop a movie. Yeah, it could be Japan. That's probably the reason for us. So, Camo and Takamuchi do find the editing room, and they see it right in the monitors. Eventually, they fight Udana. Also, they have this thing where Kano is... Oh, yeah, because they don't forget anything about these Ryusoulgers. Where Kano, as soon as he sees Udana, he immediately falls for her. And she later on is like, when you mention the thing about a bride, it's like, what the heck are you talking about? She has no idea what a bride is. Or the fact that one of her enemies is falling for her. Maybe because you're hot, Udana. Yes, seriously. Yeah, her actress is a very lovely woman. Yeah, Otto is still crushing on Mento. Yes, she still does that. It doesn't really go much anywhere here, but I appreciate everything is brought forward here. It's like anybody who didn't see, like basically, like, yeah, there's a bunch of references to Ryusoulger here, but I appreciate they'll not hit people in the head over it. And I appreciate everybody's got a good chemistry, everybody. The one thing I do got a question, though, when in the world did the Kiramagers find out about the Ryusoulgers' names? It's like, oh, they now know their names. You could probably assume they totally draw off screen. Now, in the case of Kira Yellow, he recognized Mento right away because of the picture. I appreciate that, but everybody else, not really explain how they recognize him. And then, of course, they have plot twist. In the case of the Bad Girls movie, Overthrow the Boss. The period piece, Dark Ninjas. The cop drama, Arrest the Cop for basically corruption. The teen drama basically does anything there. So they fire all the Moogers. Surprisingly, this is also the second movie. This is also the first one I can think of where they don't bring back the previous series grunts. Yeah, this is the first time. I almost kind of forgot the fact that in the case of the last movie, I thought they forgot back the grunts. Turns out, no, they did not forget back the grunts. So now you're probably thinking, was because Downcharger couldn't use the grunts from Ryusoulger? That's possible, or the fact they probably didn't have room in the script for it. So as they get out, and of course, they have this massive unmorph fight, and then Otto just gets back all the morphers for the Ryusoulgers. And then he has the awesome transformation sequence of all 12 Rangers all transforming, do all their introductions, and then they have also Jericho's inspiration. Of course, his whole thing is like, oh, we draw on this, like, and then you draw a special form for the Ryusoulgers, where, get this, or basically he does the Go Ryusoulger, basically all that capes multicolor thing, and you have Cone basically everybody except for Kano. Yeah, the Secret doesn't get anything. Yeah, so they all transform, and they all work together, and they destroy all the other Minosaurs. Kind of. They knock them all down, and then, these directors are like, oh yeah, let's do something interesting. Let's have them merge with all the Minosaurs from giant size. Now, of course, they can't use the Kishiryu because they're sealed, but they got the Morphers back. So they use, get this, they use the Princess's Tears, who turn the Blue Diamonds, and they become the Kishiryu Megazord. Which begs the question, why couldn't they do the same thing with Kanozord? So, of course, they combine, they just, it's there, and we don't have a combination sequence. I'm sure they're probably going to rush this because they're running out of time. So, they do eventually destroy the Minosaur, and of course, eventually they do have a little victory. And then the movie just kind of ends with Kano falling for the princess, and Takamichi's like, no, that's my sister. And here's something really sad about this. With the exception of two, all of these Ryusoulger characters, this is their last appearance. The only two who actually return after this is Cone and Ashura. Yeah, they return after this, but do the rest of the team? Nope. none of them return after this. Because they return for stuff related to the next series. But like everybody else, this is their last appearance. Sad. Yeah, but only in Sue, because I think this might be the last officially that the actors are seen. As for why they couldn't bring back the actors for something else, I don't know. Though they do kind of come back for production-wise for a prequel miniseries that came out during the course of the show, which was the last of any of the actors ever seen in Sentai, which was The Master's Legacy, which was a prequel to the first episode, which I enjoyed that miniseries. But in the case of stuff related to Ryusoulger, that's all done. Yep, they kind of wrap like, oh yeah, Brennan guards the Earth. Like, do the characters get sealed? Don't know. What happens to the Memphis? No idea. Complete mystery. But back to the main show itself. 27, because the movie had Return of Ryusoulger. This episode, I thought was really cool they did this. So we started off with Santa running, and then basically we see Takemichi there, Jiru, along with Miki and Natsume from Kishiryu. You're like, what? What the heck are they doing here? Now, unlike in the case of what happened with Kiramager, what they had with the Blue Ranger's niece, where they changed the actress. I don't know why they changed the actress from what they did. This one, no, I did check. It's the same actress. She got a little bit older. Because by the time this came out, she was born in 92, so that means when she was on Kishiryu, she was 16, and since it's been 12 years, she is probably 28 years old. Yeah, she's 28. And apparently, she and Senna went to college together. You're like, okay, interesting. And the fact that they're using all the Jan phrases, if ever was Jan speak, like, it's like this whole episode basically episode 27 is a tribute to Kishiryu. It's like we also have flashback to the Kishiryu. It mentions Stack, the company Mickey has, where it's like a praise to the cart. Like I love the fact they're here, but I kind of wish the Kishiryu were here. Yes, it's a shame none of them appeared in this thing. That's the thing bad about this episode, is that you have the Kishiryu in flashback, like, clearly in flashback, it's the same actors. They could have a reunion. But no, they chose not to do that. And they're kind of, like, I get the reason why they have them here, because they have, Kishiryu is a similar case to Kiramager. It's basically a private company sponsoring the team. Though, the method is different. So then of course Udani gets involved, obviously, with their super glue monster, which I read is actually her last special monster she has in the show, because she has no monsters after this. And apparently, get this super glue monster is the younger brother of the glue monster from earlier. You're like, what? Yeah, this is basically a write-off excuse of why they were using this suit for Glue Monster, because, as a matter of fact, the Kiramager referred to him as the Glue Monster. And he's like, oh, that's my pitiful older brother. I'm Super Glue Monster! Okay. And, like, I love the fact also Miki remembers the fact that, oh yeah, she actually used her form, but she can't exactly, like, I think she's supposed to be like a leopard, I think she is. Her power does manifest, but she kind of holds her own against guards, but she does really well against Udana. Miki, not to be gets away, and it gets the Rangers basically, of course, she gets bit, and of course, she's not exactly super strong, so she just barely lets off these pieces of building on this bike that's glued to the Go Arrow, and of course, they use it, they bring it to him. And then, of course, they pretty much defeat the monster really easily. Senna basically has this track meter thing strapped to her waist, and then becomes basically a dark version, like a bomb. And things must be defeated, they're able to get off her. Yeah, and yeah, then of course basically where pretty much basically like they proceed to like after they get them after they get away after a big attack. That's why guards have to save Udana. My guess is because the Emperor probably very unhappy with him if she was allowed to die. Yeah, she probably did it. He probably did it out of basically fear of the Emperor. That's probably the reason for it. But overall, basically, I'd say that 25, 26 is really good. I like the movie. I really do. But the movie itself had small issues, but basically, well, the only thing I did, the one major thing I like about it is the fact they can bring back more characters. Yeah, but all in all, the episodes I thought were really good. The movie's really, at least, I like that basically the writer of the movie, at least the writer of the movie actually wrote Ryusoulger. As a matter of fact, her most recent, yeah, it's written by a woman, this one. As a matter of fact, her most recent credit was the Kishiryu 30th anniversary special that came out a couple years ago. I'm like, that is so cool. Yep. But yeah, that is pretty much it for particular video. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, to notifications. Next up, we have a comment corner. And then I'm going out, come back, and then I will work on Freeman. I'll knock that out of the way. And then, of course, knock out the last, I'll, of course, another quick anime, which hopefully won't take too long. Then come, actually, first I'll basically knock out Freeman. This new anime we'll start up today, because I want to. And then, of course, head back to this show to work on the last episode before official got break. And then start Metal Heroes. Okay? See you next video. Bye.